Red flag condition in the Casino Arizona 125 here on Speed. 4 cars involved in this most recent incident, and we're seeing a lot of speed zorb all over this racetrack now.
Yeah, it's really been an extremely rough day on equipment here at Phoenix. This is earlier today in the Nationwide Series.
We had an idea that it was going to be tough to tame this racetrack.
We essentially only got 1 lap. This is on lap number 1.
Yeah, 3/4 of a lap. The 11 of Brian Scott around.
Danica Patrick also involved, as well as Reed Sorensen.
Ricky Carmichael in the Monster Energy 34 able to get through that one. More issues though.
Reed Sorensen cutting down a right front tire after that initial first lap incident. You see a little bit of fire under the hood of that car. Here's Stephen Wallace coming off the corner, making contact with James Busher in the 30 car. That gets James in the outside wall, Stephen into the inside wall. Ricky Carmichael does a nice job avoiding that in his monster Chevrolet. There's the contact.
Busher shortening up that race car. This was the first race on the reconfigured surface here at Phoenix International Raceway, and that was held just earlier today.
This is an incident we talk about cutting the dog leg. You see how far Elliott was. Now when he gets back up on the racetrack, he pulls right in front of Jason Leffler, and Jason just gets into him a little bit. Jason said, for the life of me, I didn't want to wreck Elliott Sadler, but that causes Eric Almirola Elliott, as well as here Jeremy Clements comes along. Morgan Shepherd makes contact. There's another view of it. See how far off the racing line they're able to go. They get down in the corner, and Elliott just a little bit of a nudge from Jason Leffler causes about 5-6 cars.
The drivers were fighting for the 10th spot. Elliott Sadler, you know,
and knocks Elliott out of the championship hunt
for that championship. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has it pretty much wrapped up. Then right here in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West,
Brendan Newberry runs in the back of Luis Martinez as they get down into turn number 1. Also involves Dylan Presnell in the 50.
This is the 7th time. Some words exchanged and finger pointing. So emotions running high here at Phoenix International Raceway. Bob, have you caught your breath yet?
I have caught my breath, I think. But I'll tell you what, it's been an exciting race, but this is what we kind of expected as people really feel out this brand new racetrack. I had a chance to speak to 5-time champion Jimmy Johnson today of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and he told me it's like putting together a puzzle, because when they first got here for their first tire test, they came out of here and they thought they were going to come back to the overall test and be so good. But when they got here, the track completely changed. And when they came back here for this weekend, it had changed again. So I think we're seeing an evolution of this newly configured racetrack here with this new surface. Nobody knows what to expect for the remainder of this race, let alone tomorrow's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race. So right now, as this track continues to rubber in, it continues to change the characteristics of the handling of these race cars, because these guys have told me all weekend long it's gone from loose to tight to all over the place. And today in qualifying, Rick, we saw that time and time again with guys get on the edge and just get really loose. In fact, 4-time champion Jeff Gordon said, I don't know what to expect from tomorrow's race, because it's just a learning experience for everybody here. You know, it runs a little bit like the old track, but at the same time, you're always on the edge as this new asphalt kind of comes into its own here at Phoenix.
You know, Bob, you're exactly right. You know, qualifying was essentially a different racetrack for the Sprint Cup guys. Yesterday, all the practice they did, they had about 4 hours of practice. Very cool, very overcast. They came and had incredible speeds yesterday in practice. They came in here today for qualifying. The sun popped out, the racetrack warmed up, and they were about 3/4 of a second off how fast they were able to run yesterday. Just a completely different racetrack. So tomorrow, Rick, it all depends on what the weather's going to be. Yeah. If it's cool and overcast, well, then it's going to have a lot of grip. If it's going to be warm like it was this afternoon, then they're going to have their hands full.
Take a look at the time lapse here of the reconfiguration of this racetrack. That happened quick. Here's the particulars of what took place. They're right in the middle of a $100 million long-term redevelopment for this racetrack. This first phase was a $15 million repaving and reconfiguring of the racetrack. I know that you've been complaining numerous years about not having an elevator to get up here to the booth, and I think they're going to do that as part of this reconfiguration.
I'm all for that. I would contribute to that.
We had to go up, what, about 60 or 70 steps, and Bob Dillner had to run a half a mile while he was trying to get to folks. Look at all the speed orb they're having to put down on the racetrack to try to clean this mess up. The most recent caution here from Phoenix International Raceway. It's the 7th caution we've had tonight, Phil.
Yeah, and they really do a nice job cleaning this speed orb up, but there's so much of it down there. We saw a couple incidents on our most recent green flag run when Greg Pursley got a little bit loose when he got his right sides up in the speed orb, and then Jason Bowl made contact with the outside wall when he got loose in that speed orb.
Cars being taken back into the garage, and we're still under a red flag condition. Download the free Speed app for your phone. Keep speed at your fingertips and fuel your passion for racing between events with Speed on your phone. Get the latest stats, results, and news as soon as they become available. Welcome back under the lights at Avondale, Arizona. The Phoenix International Raceway still under a red flag condition as they continue to clean up the racetrack. The vacuum has now been brought out to pick up some of the speed orb that's been put down to try to get rid of the fluid that was laid down on the racetrack. Again, a 4-car incident. The most recent problem here at Phoenix. Again, 7 cautions already.
I hope we can recycle that speed orb. Otherwise, we're going to have to go to the store and get some more.
Coming up immediately following this K&N Pro Series West race, it's Sprint Cup qualifying right here in Phoenix. That took place earlier today. I don't want to give up the results from that if you hadn't seen it already. Phil, you're ready to go, I can tell.
I won't.
A very unlikely pole winner was able to win the pole, but not break the track record here.
Well, again, because of the weather conditions, we'd slow down a 3/4 of a second over what the cars were able to run yesterday. I think the track record was somewhere around a 26:20, and we actually ran a 25:50 in practice yesterday, but because of the warmer conditions with the sun out, we weren't able to beat that track record.
And look at all the speed orb on the racetrack. Bob Dillner.
Dylan Presnell, 16 years old, collected in that incident. What did you see? What happened in turn number 1?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I didn't really see it. I just, I had my spotter. He was telling me that, the 29 car just ran way down in there and wrecked, wrecked about 3 or 4 of us. So, it's unfortunate. I hate it for AmericanMountainRentals.com, Toyota. We were having a pretty decent run, and, we had just came in, took in our 4 tires. I feel like we were going to have a pretty good car. So just hate it for AmericanMountainRentals.com. But just, I don't know really what happened. So.
Is it something that you saw building over the last lap or 2 prior to that?
I mean, it kind of got a little crowded there the lap before. We went like 3 wide through there the previous lap, and I think it might have been building something there. I don't know what happened, if he got mad and hit somebody or if he just ran in too hard and hit him, so I'm not really sure.
Dylan Presnell, a graduate of the Legends Car ranks.
29 of Brendan Newberry was checked and released from the infield care center.
Dylan made 6 starts this year in the East Series with 4 top 10 finishes. Did a nice job for X-Team Racing.
So again, still a red flag condition as they try to clean up the racing surface before we go back to green with just 48 laps remaining in this one. Again, a scheduled 125 lap race. And right now, probably the most laps being turned is the cleanup crew here. We'll be back with more here on Speed. There are 2 steering wheels on this vacuum truck that's coming off of the racetrack now. Welcome back to the Casino Arizona 125. I believe he's had enough. They've got the track cleared off.
Here, the jet dryers out there as well. They're going to try to blow what's left of the speed orb off the racetrack.
Brendan Newberry in the 29 involved in this incident. And we'll hear from him. He's with Bob.
Definitely some words back and forth between some of the drivers and Brendan Newberry there in turn number 1. The incident down there, from your viewpoint, what happened?
Well, I mean, first off, I have to thank everybody from NTS Motorsports. They gave me a good car. We were struggling a little bit early on until the break, and our car was finally starting to come alive here on the second half. But, yeah, I mean, Luis was kind of checked up on the front stretch there, and I got into him once, and I checked up about as far as I thought I could, and and I guess, yeah, I mean, it was completely my fault. I mean, he backed up, and I was there, and you know, I got into them, and I'm sorry to everyone on the number 6 crew of Luis Martinez and also number 23 Spencer Gallagher. I mean, those guys were just a victim of circumstance. You know, I mean, they were both upset, and I mean, tempers were flaring. You know, I didn't have the best night, and you know, obviously they weren't either because we were all in the back there. But you know, like I say, it was my fault. I apologize to both those crews. I hate it for them. I hate it for ours. I mean, our 29 car was starting to come alive. You know, last race of the year, especially in the K&N Pro Series, you know, everyone wants to run really good, especially here at Phoenix with the new pavement. It was a whole lot of fun to run on, but you know, we're running this race in memory of you know, of a U.S. Marine. You know, so it was just a race where we really wanted to do good and you know, support our Marine and everyone else in the military for Veterans Day. But you know, like I said, it was my fault. I apologize. You know, I just once I got down to it, I was pretty well stuck where I was. So like I said, I apologize to Spencer and Luis and my crew as well. We didn't want to do that, but Bob, I appreciate everything and everything that came in and everyone's done for the series. So, you know, hopefully we can come back here and run some next year.
Tough break for Brendan Newberry. Remember, he was the pole sitter here in the first race of the season here at Phoenix.
Thanks, Bob. In the background, you heard the engines firing back up and them rolling back around this racetrack. The yellow light has come back on and yellow flag goes in the air. So the red flag pulled back in, and they'll make a lap or two to check the surface, and we'll get back to racing. Again, only 47 laps remaining in this one. Alex Bowman out in front of Derek Thorne, Ryan Blaney, David Mayhew, and Eric Holmes are your top 5.
Chase Elliott now runs in the 6th spot. Daniel Suarez 7th. Chad Bowden 8th. DJ Kennington has moved up to the 9th spot. DJ, a Canadian Series champion last year. I think 2nd this year in the points in the Canadian Tire Series of NASCAR in Canada.
Well, Tuesday, don't miss the explosive series premiere of Stunt Busters. The new Speed Series blows the doors off of Hollywood stunt secrets and explores motoring myths with the hottest automotive technology on Earth. Stunt Busters premieres Tuesday, 8 Eastern, with back-to-back episodes right here on Speed.
I think Garrett and Vanessa are going to be on race day tomorrow. They're going to be the host for that show.